So I went out and looked at the site, and of course, I'm driving around and all I see is sand in the places where there's some exposed areas, and I'm seeing these undulations, and I'm seeing this corridor right through the middle that obviously you would not touch because it was sensitive. But then on the sides of that, you have this area that had been grazed by cattle that you could build on. And so I told Gil, it's off the charts amazing. A few of the environmentalists who were concerned about it because I was they just didn't understand, or they didn't believe, and I understood why, because if you saw the crap built around here, you wouldn't blame them either, that we literally intended to mow down the corridors of most of the holes. And we literally had 2 green complexes that we would have to, one we'd have to create, the 8th hole, and one we would have to take out 3 very sensitive walnuts that were protected. And otherwise, we were literally keeping what you saw there. They just didn't believe it, and I don't blame them. Yeah, they've seen things built with mounds and blinding bunkers. But anyway, so we eventually convinced them to let us build the course there, and that's kind of how it came about. Yeah, there was no reason to move things around, and so that was the fun for me, was trying to just go out there and stare at these things that were so great the way they were, but how to make them just work a little bit better, so there was some strategy. Make sure you reward the drive that flirts with the wash on the right, and penalize the person who bails out from it. I mean, it's really not that complicated, and that's why I think it has that day-to-day variety and interest, and why people are still drawn to it is the more they learn those elements. That's all you need for it to be interesting, and then everything you see on the first green or the first hole was there. The contours, so we basically just added the bunker, and we added a bump to the left of the green, so that if you bailed out, you went forward in 2, but you bailed out left, you had this sort of bump to deal with. And everything else, the ditch you see was there. I mean, literally, when I was walking, I have old photos, and there was this earthquake fault that was just sitting there, and it's like, well, we got to bend in, and the contours of the land just looked like it looked like an abandoned hole. It was that good. And even the little path behind the green, even the old dead trees, that was all there. Just left it. And that was also criticized early on, that there was not a consistency throughout the course, that the 2 9s were too extremely different. And it was like, well, that's what the land gave us. 1. 2, if you've been to great courses, there are a lot of places like that. And 3, it created this buildup, and because a lot of the routing started working around the 16th hole, that I just found that spot, and I went, well, gosh, you're going to want this near the end of the round. You're up high, this beautiful view down the property. It's dramatic. It's this big bowl that's just made for a fun tee shot where you just let it go, and so a lot of the routing worked around that, and it's like, well, gosh, I want it. You want a course to build up. You don't want it to peak early. Don't you want to kind of build up, and like Cypress Point, and finish by the water? And there are a number of places like that where the anticipation factor, I think, is huge. What we normally expect from any work of art, an album, a movie, you don't want it to peak early.